So I have a kind of a follow-up question. You triggered something in my brain when you mentioned that, you might not have yet, the company might not exist that you are perfect for, the job might not exist that you're perfect for. So is this to some extent, Kristina, an invitation to feel comfortable in an uncomfortable situations, like, feeling comfortable within ambiguity, not having all these answers?
Yes, and humans hate that. Humans do not like change, and they do not like the unknown. And it's funny, I just saw today, on my little Facebook, it popped up 7 years ago. I helped launch the Muse. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Muse. I think I saw it on your website. That didn't exist. That company did not exist when I started coaching. Didn't exist. And here I am 7 years later. I helped launch that company, and I get a lot of clients that way. But when I started coaching, so that was 7 years ago. So I had already been coaching, let's say 6 or 7 years. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew I was doing something, and I was okay with that. And people who were responding to what I was doing, whether it was giving a talk or the Women's Mosaic or in the coaching. But how is it going to all manifest? Where was it all going to lead? I don't know. I just trusted, I just trusted that I liked what I was doing and people were benefiting from it. So you just kind of got to go with that, and obviously pay attention to trends and things like that. But being in the uncomfortable, and that kind of comes back to also sort of why we started with the breath and being present. That also really helps you with the unknown, because the power's in the present, and anything can happen tomorrow. And and also we're creating tomorrow in the present. So it's a little bit more metaphysical, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but
No, you did. I just wanted to get a little bit more into that kind of uncomfortable feeling when we don't know what to do, and kind of, working through that and having that trust, right? That as you are adding your energy to the place, to that situation that you are in, you are changing it, right? You are still, even if you don't have all the answers, you are still being able to direct yourself, right? Would you agree with that?
I would agree with it. And I would also bring in the sort of left brain, right brain perspective. So your left brain is the very analytical, logical. The left brain wants a plan. It wants A to B to C. It wants to know exactly what it's doing. But that's only half your brain, right? The other half is the right brain. And the right brain is the more intuitive, the more trusting, the more creative, the more looking at sort of the whole, looking at the whole instead of looking at just the specifics. And so there's got to be a balance, right? We can't live without our either one, right? So if you had a stroke and you only lived by your left brain, you would go into analysis paralysis. You would not be able to make a decision. Okay. So you need the right brain, because the right brain taps into more of the emotional and the intuitive stuff to actually cause you to take an action but there's a balance that happens of like feeling something out and using the logic to navigate it, and take a risk, but not needing to know like every step for the next 5 years what's going to happen. It's a very it's a practice, it's a delicate dance. And I know for people who are in STEM, I'm sort of just gonna guess that you guys are more left brain people, right? Because that's the nature of what you're studying. But the best, the best coder, the best scientist is gonna also have an intuitive, a creative part of what their work is. And so learning how to balance the two and then connect that deeper to yourself to have this deeper trust in, okay, well, this feels right to me right now. I'm just going to trust it. And there's not always evidence to support it, until much later. So that's a challenge for a lot of folks.
Yeah, I think again, people who are in the science area, right, are always seeking that scientific proof, right, of how things are, how things should be, and how things will be. And there is a little bit of I guess, an art of not just science, but a little bit of art in sort of sculpting your next steps, right? No matter in what profession, in what field you are. So I want